Greetings in the name of the Most High John Rastafari. This is a girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick. Another additional we talk the thing unfiltered. People, today is already Tuesday, is already the 19th, I think, of May. Just recently was Christmas, New Year's, what is this thing? Spiritual Baptist, Easter, just like it'll be Christmas. So people, we have a program here, so we start this thing right one time because we have plenty things to talk as usual. Stick that break in all your ears. I hope all you could take all these stick now and listen and hear. Not only hear, but listen. So we start this thing one time. I don't start already. And we must have the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
People, we always have some good news, some history, information, whatever it is. Just something to perk us up before we start with the hardcore politics thing, right? So take a listen to this. It's very, very interesting.
In these times, we feel that in order to achieve the goal of civil and human rights for all, it is necessary for women of all races and creeds to know and understand each other.
The National Council of Negro Women Incorporated was created and led by a woman of immense vision, far beyond the understanding of the times. Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune knew what a powerful force women of color could be if we were organized and focused. Having been involved with many established organizations, such as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the United Negro College Fund, Jack and Jill of America, and the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, she knew it could be done. Not to mention creating a school from a one-room building outside of Daytona, which was called Bethune-Cookman College and is now a university. While all of these individual organizations were moving in a positive direction, she envisioned something greater. Thus, in 1935, the National Council of Negro Women was born, an organization of organizations. By 1938, NCNW coordinated regular visits to the White House to bring attention to the need for more black female administrators in the U.S. government, and the organization was involved in the formation of the Women's Army Corps that led to the desegregation of the military. In the 1940s and 50s, the organization was led by Dorothy Bolden Farabee, an obstetrician and a civil rights activist, and Vivian Carter Mason, a city administrator devoted to social and political reform. Mrs. Farabee and Mrs. Mason overcame the obstacles, and under their leadership, NCNW lobbied for women's rights. They fought racial discrimination and established a national health care system. Sometimes a leader will arrive who will forever change an organization. Dr. Dorothy Irene Height was that leader. She was chosen to lead the organization in 1957. While being one of the major architects of the civil rights movement, she achieved non-profit status for NCNW and shifted our focus to advancing our standard of living. As the godmother of the civil rights movement, she stated, "Empowerment is the most important thing we can give ourselves. Change comes not at the direction of a nation, but at the insistence of its people." It was her vision to purchase the building at 633 Pennsylvania Avenue as the new home for NCNW. And in the year 1996, that objective came to fruition.
We came to love her stories, and we loved her smile. We loved those hats that she wore like a crown, regal.
Following the passing of Dr. Dorothy Height in 2010, former teacher, news producer, and prison administrator Dr. Barbara Shaw stepped up to be the national chair. Her quest was to keep NCNW moving forward. And through her steady leadership and tenacity, we did just that during a critical time. In 2012, Ingrid Saunders Jones was unanimously elected to be the 6th NCNW National Chair. She stepped into the NCNW leadership role and successfully steered the organization to firm financial footing, with an emphasis on future growth. Ms. Jones' mantra, "NCNW is alive and well and solvent," became a rallying call, along with her passion to build a stronger Black America. And it was evident in NCNW's direction. For the Future focused on education through STEM, health disparities in communities with HIV and AIDS, financial literacy for entrepreneurship, and public policy through public engagement. When Dr. Janetta Besh Cole was unanimously elected the 7th president and national chair 1 year ago, she challenged the organization to meet 2 specific goals.
This organization is poised to be more intergenerational and to be more prominent nationally and ultimately internationally.
Having presided over the only 2 colleges for women of color in the U.S., Spelman and Bennett, Dr. Cole understands that to reach its full potential, NCNW must have deep roots as well as emboldened wings.
You need to look back in order to go forward. The folk who grew me up said, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been.
Dr. Cole is responsible for launching Girl Tech, a symposium for women in technology that reaches across the country in order to share ideas, mentor one another, and network within the industry. The inaugural year of the HBCU tour has sparked interest in over 3,000 high school students and is already in the planning stages to overshadow this year's efforts.
I might be able, in this period, working with others, to bring NCNW more prominently back on the national scene. There should never be a convening around a table, certainly having anything to do with black women where NCNW does not have a seat.
Strong, black, and proud African woman of African ancestry. So when it have one in this country who out of place, like to talk about we and the massa whip, and all who just say we can't achieve and we never achieve. Let me tell you, the history is there to show it. So let me tell all the little black girls, all the little black boys, adults and all, don't ever let nobody make all they feel as if African people has not done it and continue to do it at all levels of society, professional, technical, and otherwise. We are black and we are proud, and yes, we have our challenges, but we're not less than anybody else. And these women, although it's not in Trinidad, would have paved the way for a lot of women organizations all around the world because of their strength and resilience. And while that is happening in America right now, they're trying to take away the rights of people of African descent from voting. And listen to Gary Chambers out, I think, in Louisiana, his fight back. Gary Chambers' testimony before Louisiana State Senate on racist redistricting. So just like how they want in this country to change the boundary and this here and all that kind of thing, I think for local government election, I think so. Same way they're trying to do in America now, so that to make it where African people wouldn't be able to have a chance to vote because of how they redistributing, I think, the districts. And I'm listening to this. These things are important because apparently, in my opinion, it looks as though this government is taking the playbook of the President of the United States of America and implementing it right here. Don't ever forget, Cambridge Analytica, you know, that happened, you know, that was real, you know. The pink hair man they're talking about, he went before the Congress in America and he went before the chambers in England and talk about the first time they launched these things in Trinidad, you know, they do so. They do Trinidad, you know, little Trinidad, you know, right here. Cambridge Analytica will do so. Or they think do so was just so. Anyway, listen to Gary Chambers' testimony.
Mr. Chambers, please state your name for the record.
Gary Chambers, representing myself here. I am not surprised by the things that we see happening in our country today, because this is as true to America as it has always been. I was born in 1985. I'm 40 years old. A lot of times when we talk about this history, we like to go back to the 1960s, the 1800s. But when I was born in 1985, there were no black members of Congress from Louisiana. I was 6 years old when Bill Jeffers was sworn into office. I was 7 years old when Cleo Fields was sworn into office. I was 9 years old when they took him out of office. I'm 40 today, and you're still taking things from black people. Anybody who has to cheat to win is a sucker. I'm gonna say it again. Anybody who got to cheat to win is a sucker. And you continue to do this because you don't have a better vision. You don't have a better plan. You are your ancestors' children and grandchildren. Thieves, robbers, liars, consistently. Because you'll go to church on Sunday, tell the Lord you love him. Pray, but you ain't praying out of the same Bible I'm praying out of. Can't be. Isaiah 1 and 17.
Are you directing this to us?
I am.
Okay. I'm asking that you don't directly. No. I'm asking that we don't be called names. I'm asking.
I didn't call you a name. What did I call you?
Liars.
Do you lie? All men lie. The Bible says that.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Carter, briefly.
Mr. Chairman, this is public comment. The First Amendment allows freedom of speech and expression 100% without limitation. Mr. Chambers, put on the record your full comments, and if you see thievery, I want you to call it out. If you see something else, I want you to call it out. As your First Amendment protection is going to be protected in this building.
I'm not going to be called names. I'm not going to be called names. All right. And what we will do is stay on the four corners of these bills. The maps. Mr. Chambers.
If you are taking something from black people, which means we have congressional representation, am I going to be allowed to speak?
Yes.
Your mic is on.
Okay. If you are taking seats from black people, which we are entitled to by the Constitution of this country, then you are a thief in my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion.
I will not be
and
called
any
a thief.
senator, if you're offended by it, that's on you, not me.
Right.
Now, if that triggered you, Senator, then you should go to bed tonight, and when you go to bed tonight, talk to your God and ask your God to change your heart, because that's conviction right there. Conviction. That's what it was. It did something in your soul. It made you feel something. And that's what happened when black men show up. When black men with courage, conviction, and righteousness show up, it triggers something in you. And you feel a way about it. So you try to limit us, you try to steal from us, and you think that we don't understand it. Every one of the black men we put up before you stand head and shoulders above every one of you on this committee. And you know it. And it does something in you that makes you feel inferior. So then you come with these white supremacist tactics because you have the numbers, but you don't have the courage. Because if you were really visionary leaders, you'd run against these black men with fair maps, and you get your asses whooped. Louisiana is 33% black. 33% black. We have earned, we are due 2 congressional seats. Now, if you take them from us, just know there will be a day in this state when we organize, strategize, and mobilize to take something from you. It's coming. And when you lose your House seat because you decided to be Jeff's boy, when you lose your Senate seat because you decided to be Trump's minion, remember today. Remember the people that came from your state, that you looked in their faces, that you act like what they said didn't matter to you. Because something somebody said thousands of miles away, who don't really care about any of you on this committee, to be honest. Nobody in that conservative party in D.C. cares about any of you on this city committee other than the fact that you have the ability to take something away from black people. And if you were anything like what America should be, you'd find some courage. I don't know where y'all get it from, but you'd find some courage. You could talk to some of your black colleagues. They could tell you where the well is. But if you find that courage, history will record you differently. Now, you may not care what history records you as. Bull Connor didn't when he was running either. Neither did George Wallace when he was the governor of Alabama. But 60 years later, nobody thinks George Wallace was a good white man. And nobody will think that you were good white men. They will think that you all were puppets who played a role for a president and got nothing out of it but thievery.
Thank you for your testimony. The board is clear.
See, people of African descent have always stood up against injustice. They've always stood up for equal right and justice. Fearless. Resilient. So don't let nobody make you feel like we're weak. We're not weak. We're not weak at all. We're just as strong as any other race in this country. So listen to this also.
The island that resisted slavery for 100 years, and they erased it from history, St. Vincent, 1635 to 1797. While other Caribbean islands fell to European control, the Black Caribs of St. Vincent fought back. For over a century, They were descendants of shipwrecked Africans and indigenous Kalinago people. They built free communities in the mountains. They refused to be enslaved. The British tried to take the island 6 times. 6 times they failed. The Black Caribs used guerrilla warfare. They knew the terrain. They had alliances. They had something the British didn't, the will to stay free. So in 1797, the British did what empires do when they can't win. They removed the problem. Over 5,000 Black Caribs were forcibly deported to Roatan, Honduras. Families torn apart. A century of resistance erased from the island they defended. Today, their descendants are the Garifuna people, still speaking their language, still preserving their culture, still here. Your history books didn't teach you this, but now you know. Drop your island in the comments. Let's uncover what they didn't want us to remember. Follow for more Caribbean history they tried to erase.
People, watch this also. This is Trinidad and Tobago Embassy in New York. I thought it was the Indian Embassy in New York. If somebody didn't say that's the Trinidad and Tobago Embassy, I seen that, I would assume the Indian Embassy really looking nice. That's the Trinidad and Tobago Embassy in New York. We continue. Let's sit down there. So Ashanti was here this week in the big concert. I hear the show was real bad. But I'm just curious, right? I know they can't pay Ashanti and Ja Rule in $30 or none of them entertainers. And where do people get US from? I just asking a question, you know, because they put on a real good show. They get top class entertainers there. So take a little listen to Ashanti here with voice.
Let me ask y'all, what y'all know about this one?
Listen, now we good like that, you know, talented. Voice the International, like a Marshall. You know, we good out there, we good out there, and so many others, Cass, so many other artists and stuff, you know, doing well. So I saw this also. 7-year-old Trinidadian American boy just got accepted into the American Mensa. Jadon Preto scored in the 99th percentile on cognitive testing. He started reading at age 2, quickly showed advanced math skills, and is now enrolled in a gifted program in Georgia. His parents are Trinidadian and worked in academia. His interests include Lego, Sonic, and Taekwondo. This is what Caribbean excellence looked like at 7 years old. I saw this in Irie Jam Radio. It was a couple of days ago, but I thought it's something to bring to us to show you again, supporting what I say, or what I've been saying, that we can do anything that we want to. We have been doing it and we'll continue to do that despite the odds. So let me continue. I also saw this, and this is so cute. This little chap really has it in his DNA. When you see him, you see signs of his mom. You see the musical side of the mom, the showmanship, everything. This is Miss Queen Terry Lyon's son at a performance. Listen, and the hair, oh my goodness. Miss Terry, don't cut the hair at all, eh? Watch it. Talent for so. Blue boy jeans not easy, boy. The DNA ain't easy. Congratulations there to Queen Terry Lyon's son. I think his name is, oh gosh, I had it just now, no. I'll come back to that. But gifted. I'm also seeing here now, listen, this place right here. This here is the Venezuelan minister, and they want compensation for TNT oil spill. So this was in the Guardian today. Venezuelan Foreign Affairs Minister Ivan Gil, it's YVAN, is demanding information from Trinidad and Tobago about the recent oil spill that his government insists originated from Trinidad, as well as compensation for the fallout from it. Venezuela's state-run media, VTV, yesterday reported that Gil said the spill, which emanated from a heritage petroleum field, is extremely serious, as is the lack of information from TNT government, and asserted that they do not know the exact origin, volume, and type of hydrocarbons involved from the incident. Trinidad and Tobago has an obligation, first and foremost, to immediately report to the Venezuelan government any spill or environmental incident. Secondly, we must have information on the type of product that was spilled and the measures taken to mitigate it, Gil said. The Foreign Affairs Minister demanded responsibility for this type of event and asserted that his country has sent various types of communication statements to the TNT government to assess the impact. Gil showed satellite images recording since April 20th that shows the spill from Trinidad. He also said Venezuela has been working for several weeks on this very worrying issue with teams from the Venezuelan Ministry of Eco-Socialism, Environment and Fisheries and Aquaculture, the state-owned Petroles de Venezuela, PDVSA, and the National Institute of Aquatic Spaces, NINEA, and the Navy. They warned of an impact of 1,625 square kilometers in 12 strategic wetland systems in his country, as well as an activity of more than 500 fishermen. In addition, Gail pointed out that 4 Venezuelan national parks are at risk, and there have been operational limitations from the fishing fleet, which generates significant costs and limits marketing. There has been a real economic environmental impact, the foreign minister stated, adding that more than 140 fish species were affected in the area, in addition to the mangroves. He also claimed that this was not the first oil spill from Trinidad that has affected Venezuela. So far, more than 12 tons of hydrocarbon products have been collected and have been analyzed, Gill said, adding that between 2015 to 2023, more than 876 spills of different types of compounds occurred in the area. Contacted for comment on the claims yesterday, Energy and Energy Industry Minister Dr. Rudan Mulal said, "We are arranging to have discussions with our Venezuelan counterparts later this week, and we will sort out all these matters, small oil pin. Small oil spill." What? Why you need to put, look, we have been busy doing the technical and scientific work. 2 weeks ago, they not just trying to trivialize everything in my thing, always trying to be clownish. That's my opinion. Serious thing, and there's always some. 2 weeks ago, in response to Venezuelan government communique on the oil spill, TNT Minister of Energy and Energy Industries released an account of the incident confirming the Heritage Petroleum detected an oil spill at its main offshore field approximately 7:25 a.m. on May the 1st. The ministry reported the oil spill trajectory modeling indicated a risk of untreated hydrocarbon potentially crossing into Venezuela's water. And that spill happened on the 1st, and after Venezuela put out a communique about the spill, 9 days later or 8 days later, Trinidad would have acknowledged. Everything is a give, and a joke. Some Allyuh stick the break in all ears. We tell Allyuh, we did tell Allyuh, we tell Allyuh, But, so I'm seeing here, Bacchanal on the Blue Wave ship. Bacchanal on the Blue Wave ship. A ship you call that, or a barge, or a tug, or ferry, whatever. Cargo, I think it's cargo, vessel. That I say, in my opinion, is some old ship. It's some old cargo ship. Because the first time I couldn't come in the port in Tobago, it get a big rip away, like them distressed jeans. People trying to understand how that rip away. So then the next thing it wasn't working. Then the next thing we hear is that tugboat was pulling it to come in. And now we hear it has a shitty problem. So listen to this.
All right. So good night, fellow truckers. We are on board the Blue Wave Harmony right now. The toilet time are not working, so this is our new toilets to be using right now. So this is our new toilets that we are going to be using right now. Portable toilets.
I never hear them things that happen on the Cabo Star or happen on the APT James or the Boco Reef. I think it's Boco Reef, right? I never hear them thing happen. So this is what political leader of the PNM in Tobago and deputy political leader of the PNM nationally had to say, Mr. Shamfalo, Kojo Lewis. A recurrent national embarrassment and a burden on the taxpayer. The current situation aboard the Blue Wave Harmony is completely unacceptable. The inter-island ferry service is the absolute lifeblood of our economy, our businesses, and our daily lives. It is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Right now, Tobago is holding the messy end of the stick again, and Tobagonians have had enough. To hear that our hard-working truckers are being forced to use temporary porta potties because the vessel plumbing failed is an absolute insult. We are less than 3 months into the commercial sailing of this vessel, and yet it has been plagued with faulty air conditioning, defective bow thrusters, and basic maintenance failures. The warning signs were there from the start. When international vessel history reports raised red flags regarding safety problems, functional defects, and past detentions, those concerns deserve rigorous, transparent investigations, not dismissal and deflection. The expiration of the Cargo Star contract was no secret. Authorities had over 6 months to procure and properly vet a vessel fit for purpose. Tobagonians should not have to pay the price for the government's carelessness and the THA's incompetence. Today I'm calling on the TH and the government to fix this. We need immediate transparent answers from our central government, provide the public with a maintenance roadmap, hold the service providers accountable. Please fix the vessel or find one that actually works. We need our Chief Secretary and his team to stop sitting on the sidelines using our struggles for song bites. Find the courage to actively engage your friends in the central government to protect Tobago's economic interests so we can maintain a decent standard of living. Our taxpayers deserve value for their hard-earned dollars. Our truckers deserve dignity. Tobago deserves better. Please let we fix this now. Yeah? I heard on the news this evening or this afternoon, the Minister of Works, Infrastructure or something so, the Honorable Julie John, would have said is a simple thing, I'm paraphrasing, is a simple thing and they go fix that because some clogged toilet and a clog and people toilet in the house is clogged and yeah, we know all that, but this boat since it come in the short 3 months, 4 months is always a problem. Always a problem. All them months the Cargo Star wasn't there, I never hear no clog thing and no putty, little putty thing that people have to use. This now come and get clogged. Anyway, me ain't no marine specialist and all them things, now, Papa. But as political leader, Mr. Shamfalo, Kojo Lewis stuff said, fix the problem for Tobago people now. They give all you everything. They give all you the 2 seats, east and west. They give all you the 15 in the THA. They give all you everything, but get them back something now. Don't have them begging at the trough. Get them something. Let me continue. Give them something. So, PNM Sports Day was on Sunday, but Saturday I had the 5K. And it was very successful. I had a friend of mine who took part. Some friends of mine took part. And Sunday was the sports. I went to the sports day, but unfortunately, I didn't stay too long. It had too much dust. I'm an allergy sufferer. I don't do dust. That will make me end up with fever, chills, colds, coughing, the works, having to go on allergens to take those medications to help. I wasn't doing it. But it looked like it was good. I watched the rest on Facebook and thing after. So let me bring you some sites from let's think from the sports. It was held in our constituency, Policeman North St. Anne's West, and our MP would have indicated via a short video that he's out of the country on business, so he can't be there and that. So he was not there. But the sports went on. And again, my issue was the dust. I didn't walk around, so I can't tell you if it really had people. I did not. I wouldn't do that. But from looking at it, it looked like it had a nice crowd. But I'm sure a lot of people, they had the cold war asthma, it act up. People have fever, they had chill, the voice gone, all that, because it was too much. I saw people had to wash their head. Just thinking about it, my skin started scratching. That's the next thing. Skin scratching and itching. Anywho, so enough of that. So let me bring you some sights from the sports.
We're outside today.
Where are we in today?
Well, you know, the last time I won the musical chairs, so I'm coming to defend my title. And maybe a couple other things, a little tug of war, some novelty games. If you catch me on a good side, I might do a little 60 meter something.
I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. That dance thing, gal a man ching, this a gal a man queen. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. I saw gal fi had, I saw gal fi had. Hot chick we burn up a pot, burn to the max.
Hey, how you doing?
I saw gal fi had, burn up a pot to the max. Run on the block. I saw gal fi had. 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 I saw gal fi had.
Congratulations.
We have the 692 dash Mayor's right. So we have.
That's Miss Pretty Shamfa. I did see also Miss Ronuka. I did not see Miss Ayana, but again, I wasn't there, so I don't know if she was there also. Look at this also. So that's the political leader there, and one of the deputy political leader, I think Mr. Jennifer Patisse Prime, was having some fun showing they could go down at the age. Still could go down at the age, they're flexible, too bad. Let's see who we have here again. Oh, this is taking a little speechifying.
Just say this to you. We learned recently that Moody's credit rating agency was about to downgrade the national gas company because they were withholding information. So what did they do? Instead of providing the information, you know what they do? Cancel the contract. That's how this government operates. And we know that the NGC is a unique multi-billion-dollar state-owned company. I want to ask the Prime Minister today from this stage in Nelson Mandela Park, what are they hiding at NGC? What is that UNC board afraid of? It is important, my friends, listen to what they are saying and listen to what they are not saying. Then you have Landmark TT, the HDC.
To be honest, I think I can remember at a sports they having that kind of political talk. I don't know, I probably missed it, but I shall leave that for another time. Like that's fun and sports they thing, and but I guess anywhere to spread the word, I guess you would. So somebody turned up at the sports there. Let me tell you, if it's how they run out and hugging, look that. Anyway, it is what it is. So look the duck.
Simon did not bring up value. He did not get. Every time I call him, he disappeared. So all of them want to I'm calling Mr. Emma. Mr. Emma, can you play hide and seek with me, boy? Come on, man.
Papa Laps. So there was a march past. There's a lot of people that's come out for that because all the constituencies and things that's come and like yourself, I think, if I'm not mistaken, could be about 19 constituencies who take part. It could be more, but again, as I told you all, I didn't stay long because I started to feel fever and all kind of thing coming on. So in the march past, Arima won the march past, that the constituency of the political leader won the march past. I think who came second is, I think is MP Marcel constituency comes second, you know. No, I think is MP Scotland constituency comes second. If it's not one of you, all forgive me. Because you know my focus is the policeman out sentence was came third. So I just brought it to you. I couldn't bring all, but they were good. And what I saw on Facebook and then, ooh, they come with their matches and then they come out. Yeah, so congratulations to all those who took part in the march past, all the winners. Everybody's winners at the end of the day. But look at Port of Spain, North St. Anne's West.
That's all you gotta do. You just gotta kick butt. Let's go!
Yeah, for the North St. Anne's West in the house. So that's just a little sight and thing from this sports. So we get on to the real bacchanal thing here. I see citizenship for sale. This is Tuesday the 19th, 2026 in the Trinidad Express. A corruption racket has been uncovered at the Immigration Division, where millions of dollars were allegedly paid over the years for citizenship, residency permits, work permits, and passport appointments. Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander said. In response to a question from the Express yesterday, the minister confirmed that investigations were conducted into immigration officials and employees at the division who have allegedly been charging members of the public for passport appointments for several years. However, he said it was just the tip of the iceberg, with officials charging $90,000 and upwards for residency papers and work permits for this country. There are also reports of Chinese nationals constructing homes for officials in North Trinidad in exchange for TNT residency, he stated. Alexander said the division was rotten to the core and noted that a major shakeup has been undertaken with several officials sent on leave. There are persons paying as much as $90,000 for citizenship, for residency. People would apply for work permits, etc., and these corrupt persons would hold the documents saying it is by the minister for signature. The minister may have already signed it, but they held these documents to collect monies. Some of the transactions took place right outside a private car park in Port of Spain, he said. He said the racket had been operating for several years undetected because of a lack of oversight, accountability, and transparency within the system. Some of these immigration officers are smart and seasoned. They would not collect the money directly and would hide papers until they were paid through various means. This is a racket we met there on arrival by my third day, he said. The minister said that there were also instances in which people entered the country and secured residency papers without being interviewed. We have information about Chinese persons who would have constructed homes. How much time ago say that? Alexander said he took immediate action to dismantle the corruption. We had to toss up and shake up the ministry. We also made questionable arrangement where the immigration department has a partnership with an international firm. And no matter what we tried to do differently, there were strong objections and instances on the issue, on the use of that particular firm, which has a lockneck on the immigration department, he said. And he went on to say a lot more. He said Prime Minister Kamala Prasad, who heads the National Security Council, was aware of the situation and the action taken. Prime Minister told us that corruption under the system will not be tolerated. That is why we are going hard, and I want to thank all the agencies for their technical support in this matter, together with law enforcement, he said. So I see something else here now. Contract worker Center of Passport Appointment Scam. And this again was Tuesday, which is today, in the Trinidad Express. An employee attached to the Immigration Division Head Office at the Ministry of National Security in Port of Spain was questioned last Friday after senior immigration officials uncovered what they believe is an online passport appointment racket, in which the contract worker is believed to have collected hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 6 months. Multiple sources told Express the scheme involves manipulating the online appointment system, with applicants reportedly being offered faster passport processing dates in exchange for cash payments. The employee was questioned by senior immigration official last Friday after investigators reviewed CCTV footage recorded earlier this month, which allegedly showed a person receiving what authorities believe was financial compensation in a small brown envelope from a man on the ground floor of the building in exchange for securing an online passport. And it goes on and on. But this is a developing story. It's very interesting. Let me see how that goes. Because they're very adamant against corruption and those kind of things. So let us see how that goes. Because I hear them saying nothing much about this. And this right in the parliament.
Jagdeo Singh, lawyer, politically connected, life going well. Until one day a client's wife came to him for help. Her husband was locked up on drug charges. She wanted bail. Jagdeo said sure, for $40,000. Claimed he'd used the money to influence the magistrate and the prosecutor. Unfortunately for Jagdeo, she went to the police. They set up a sting at KFC in Curep. Cops hiding nearby, money in a plastic bag. She handed it over. He said everything would be okay. Seconds later, police pounced. Jagdeo shouted, "Is money, is money!" He was arrested, charged, tried, and jailed. 7 years for corruption. But wait, this is Trinidad. Jagdeo appealed all the way to London. The Privy Council said the jury wasn't told he had good character. Good character, so the conviction quashed. No retrial. Singh walked out of prison a free man. And now, Kamla Persad Bissessar made him Speaker of the House. So, yeah, that's how to get caught taking bribe and end up running Parliament. Only in Trinidad.
No, probably the contracted worker could probably end up in Parliament, who knows. But corruption mustn't be tolerated at no level at all. Not condoning, at all at all. That have repercussions, that is white collar crime, that have repercussions to thousands of people. I'm also seeing, well, the big talk is Victor Roberts, the man who said drag the coffin. I used to call him Hellboy, honestly. I used to say, that was my pet name for him. If all you used to hear me, I used to be saying that. Mr. Dragging the coffin all over. He has now switched lanes and he is now a PNM. That is my business. So this is what he had to say concerning the whole situation with the political leader of the PNM and the whole John Bates situation. This is a message or something he had to be telling Kamla, who used to be his leader. That is not his leader no more. So he's supporting the political leader, the PNM now, which that's his constitutional right to do. And he's not the first, the second, the third, or fourth. So they want to drag the man all over. If you hear the kind of names they calling the man, when he was with them, they wasn't calling him all them kind of names. They now discovered he's the kind of thing they're calling him now. And he will not be the first alderman who would go for one party, get in as an alderman under that party and switch to the next party and still stay as an alderman for the party that he went up for before and all kind of things. So let the man alone too now. Fix all their business. And that's basically what he's telling them here. Don't watch the political leader, the PNM. Fix all them other things. I just play all they want to say about Jagdeo saying. They listen to Victor Roberts now.
Kamla Persad Bissessar, you really have the audacity to talk about Penny should be the last one as it relates to question to answer as it deals with the John Bates issue. Kamla, all you have no shame in this country or what? All there's a bunch of shameless people. The UNC, those persons that you appoint as ministers, they have several questions to answer in this country. And then on top of that, Barry Padarat talking about integrity. Barry, you have to be a shameless man to make mention of that word integrity. The UNC should be the last group of individuals in this country to talk anything about integrity. Beckers doesn't have to answer for $1 million bail, you know. Beckers doesn't have to answer for $3 million in a bank account that people cannot give account for. Beckers doesn't have to answer for EMBD and bid rigging and corruption. Beckers doesn't have to answer for live sport. Beckers do not have to answer for landmark TT as it relates to $100 million in contract. Beckers doesn't have to answer for $3.4 billion in HDC. All these mad people or what? All they can't talk nothing about integrity. Sit quiet when all hear that word. Sit down in all your corner and wait for an election to call, for the PNM to remove all you, and for the fraud squad to take action against those who they have to take action against. I go on.
Papa laps, people hot, oi. I see the PNM Women's League wake up from the slumber. This is what I tell Barry. Cockroach have no place in foul business. Cockroach have no. Where is that you have any heavy truth? That's a center, no, that's a side stitch lace front also. Tell me, Olena, I see they have a prettier Barry with all that thing on his head. I don't know if he really have a bald head. Below, but if he does, he looks much better with the bald head. This center side stitch, lace, front, back, front, I don't know what the hell it is. Barry, come now, man. It just remember the Honorable Julian John weave. The only weave in have a center stitch, center part was. Look, I don't know. All they need them tongue gills and them to really do all the hair and nails and all them kind of thing like all they ain't ready so across so. All they ain't ready. Anyways, cockroach have no place in foul business. Hey, oh God, oh, I live in that right day. All I think is just when in politics are back and I listen to something was going on in Pantry Big. You know the election coming up and it looked like Kurt Allen, who's Subrika, I think is the something bad John or Calypso or something. So any Kurt Allen, I see him making some live saying he went and make a report in the police station because something with the parents and them that like me, you know, who it has dropped some letter or something or somewhere, whatever. By the parents and them late at night and the parents and them get worried and whatever and because of them he went and make this report and all kind of thing. And he letting them know if all they had to tell me anything whatever come by me, don't go by my parents and them. No, I don't know who is the we he talking about and they whatever. But listen to this mister here. Listen to this mister. Something is something. Something smelling.
Yes, good afternoon, people. Good afternoon, the members at Tuku. You know, it's 3 years now we're trying to get the attention of Tuku members, you know, informing them of the behavior pattern of our present president, right? Ainsley King, right? To be exact, right? Now, I don't like making these kind of videos really, but I think it's necessary to do so now, seeing that my brother Kurt Allen, you know, have experienced something similar, you know, to what I've been going through for the past couple years with this President Ainsley King, right? Because he liked to intimidate the members so that they will hush your mouth, have nothing to say, and he continue with the corrupt practices, right? But Allyuh Kojo is not an easy man to intimidate. For who know me will tell you that straight up. You can't intimidate I, right? I's a warrior in the army, right? I's a warrior for standing up for what is right, right? I don't like advantage, right? That's the type of person I am, right? And Ainsley like to intimidate the members, right? For whatever reason, you know. He like to serve your pre-action protocol, take you to court, so that they will hush your mouth and don't say nothing, according to Shirley Hendrickson. That's she song, hush your mouth and don't say nothing. Right? That's the practices of this administration here. I'm telling you. Right? And you have a legal advisor who's being paid, right, with the membership money, if I should say. Right? And this is what he too encouraging. You understand? Because before he advised your president to do the right thing, he advising the president to go after the members, right? Who just speaking out and want to stand up for what is right, who asking for transparency and accountability. That's all we asking for, no? Transparency and accountability.
Bacchanal and Tuko. Tuko members, don't let's take breaking all their ears. When all they have to go and vote, come out as a financial member and all they vote. Don't do like them people and them in the general election. They get warning and they, all right. So let me continue. So the Honorable David Nackett had a football competition. I can't remember the name of it. But it came to its fruition and had the finals and had it down at the stadium, a handful of people. So you must congratulate him because it went to the end. I think Simeon Road football team. I can't remember the proper name, but it's Simeon Road. And I don't think Simeon Road is from down Pity Valley, Simeon Road in Pity Valley, or Diego Martin. One out of the two. Anyway, congratulations to Simeon Road. They take the whole thing. They take it. Congratulations on all the teams that take part. And congratulations again to the Honorable Minister and the football thing. Excuse me. So as I was saying, they had it down in the stadium. And look at this. Take a look at this. Two things. Where's that little song they play first on the pan? That I think it was played for the president. What that's about? And two, with the Tassa, I'm surprised. But okay, Tassa can't play a whole song, Tassa does play rhythm, so okay. But it sounds good. The second thing, which is the most disheartening thing. What them can't do it on top of that track. That track is established a class 1 athletic is listen. This track is international that the PNM government put on for all the citizens of this country who are involved in track and field. World class, where we can have Carifta game, CARICOM game, whatever game, international sports, track and field, so I could come down and practice on that track because it was $80 million spent not just for the track but to refurbish a whole Hazy Crawford Stadium. Bring that track up to that level and them drive the car. So when the workers on them down in the stadium did they tell the Honorable Prime Minister they can't drive the car there, use the cart on them? If she can walk from where they start to park the car, if they have some cart or something like a golf thing, you could jump in it and that is safe to drive in those areas. They didn't tell her that, or did they tell her and they didn't care? I don't know. David Nackett is an international footballer. You would tell me, Honorable David Nackett, you ain't know that car is supposed to go on that track there, boy. You ain't know that? You are a man out here playing football a long time, traveling the world. You should know them things. You know what it is? All the damage that because internationally it says motor vehicles are restricted, they are strictly prohibited on standard track and field athletic tracks. Driving cars, motorcycles, or ATV on these surfaces will permanently ruin the specialized synthetic rubber or polyurethane. For track maintenance and specific events, only lightweight, low surf utility vehicles with specialized non-mark rubber pneumatic tires are allowed. All the damage that thing. So imagine one of we big runners and them come down to practice here because they come down from winter or something. They come and practice here because they feel up to international standard. And while running now, because of that vehicle, we think there's something go down low, and them will run on that and damage themselves or injure themselves for international. Who is not a Trinidadian runner come down and decide they're going to use down here sports tourism now because it's international track and field. The field is international and decide they will practice here and damage themselves because of some bump or some dig down or some dent, wherever it is. You know the country could be liable. And then you could ruin that runner career for life, or a local or international or regional. Why are they doing that? But then again, I remember the Prime Minister saying that the East-West corridor, because basically it is within the lighthouse. It's not real people. We don't have real dreams. We don't have real ambitions. We don't have nothing. But there's a country outside or beyond the lighthouse, a country that have real people, real dream, real ambition, and them is the people who should come back, them marginalized and all that. Them is the people she come tell. So the people who have take part in track and field, if people want to say it, is largely people of African descent. And the people who live in the East-West corridor within the lighthouse is a large percentage of African descent. So we don't have no feelings, we don't have no dreams, we don't have no ambition, we don't have nothing. So the track and field were built for African people, children to run because they are runners, because that is what they choose as a profession, they're good at it and all that, they could get scholarship and all that. Mash up the damn thing because it's not only that PNM build that, like if PNM take the whole money and build that, it's taxpayers dollars build that, so they have no regard, in my opinion, based on the things you all would have said, not what I said, you know. So listen to this. And that will reaffirm what I'm saying here. Listen to this.
Every training session, every early morning workout, every sacrifice brought you here tonight. Some of you may one day play professional football. Others may become coaches, you may become mentors, professionals, or leaders within your communities. But whatever path your life takes, the discipline, the teamwork, the perseverance, and respect you learn through sport will remain with you forever. Whether you lift the trophy tonight or not, you have already made your families and your communities very proud.
Therefore, it's okay, and you're talking about to train and all kind of thing, but they're mashing up the track and field. With them vehicles were going on top of it, they were not supposed to have them big heavy vehicles. And all it's okay about sports and all that, how come all they input money to make sure that the primary school track and field championship, they have money to go on, and that nobody can write no letter to them the day before the championship to start to tell them it in hand on with 400 or more primary school children dreams. The dreams has been dashed. Who was taking part in the track and field? All the teachers who were the coaches, all the parents who were dedicated, making sure that everything in order, the child did, they had things to eat, and all the principals, all the whole school spirit, or they kill all of that. Is it because it's a large percentage of people of African descent was taking part in that track and field school championship? So now to come to talk about all they care about sports. You could never care about sports and drive them vehicle and them on top of that track. Could never care about sports. That's my opinion, I give it. Anyway, let me continue. Stick the brick in all their ears. Now we had this to deal with. So I'm seeing something here by Suzette Lowy. And she says, more questions for Saddam Hussein this time Barry Padarat has some to answer as well. Let's hear Barry on the contracts for family, friends, wives, husbands, and even outside woman statement he recently made. 1. Can Barry Padarat and Saddam Hussein say whether Kundas and Denise Ramdin are known to them and whether they are the owners of D&D Auto. 2. Can Saddam Hussein and Barry Padarat say whether D&D Auto financed either of their political campaigns? 3. Was Kundas later appointed as chairman to the board of TSTT? 4. Was D&D given any MTS contracts, and if so, how were they qualified? What was the tendering process? 5. Did the UNC host its annual Christmas fundraiser at the Dennis Ramdahan complex in Couva, and what was paid to the entity for this venue? 6. Did the government lease a vehicle from D&D Auto at a lease value of $347,000 under landmark TT? Barry Padarat, and a set of question mark, ting, ting, ting. Saddam Hussein, a set of question mark. Hopefully, Trinidad Express newspapers and other media can ask these questions as well. And I just want you all to know it's not me asking these questions. It's a lady who goes by the name of Suzette Lowy. Okay. Hey, well, yeah. So I also see this people. Somebody else write an next piece, Papa. I just read what they write us. I don't know who. A picture that appears to be the Honorable Saddam Hussein and another gentleman. And this was a post under Anonymous TT, not under me, Anonymous TT. It is on Facebook. And it says, Dear Saddam, I don't know if it's this Saddam they're talking about, but this picture is what is attached to that. Would you like to explain to the Muslim community why your advisor Jerome from the Ministry of Legal Affairs and Land resides with you at your recently constructed home in Chinchin Road? I see nothing wrong in that. I have lived by my girlfriends already. We're in school together. And I mean platonic, only don't get hype up. Back then it was my school friend, girlfriend, classmate. I live by them, you know, things. So I see. Could you also explain how Jerome is able to afford a BMW X5 while earning a reported salary of $26,000 per month? Again, this is on Anonymous TT asking questions. Are you willing to tell the public who financed the construction of your home and the purchase of your Porsche? Additionally, would you care to explain why your mother is reportedly at the casino in Price Plaza every day and how your parents came to acquire the Prado? The public deserves transparency and answers. Honorable, let me think this. Honorable Saddam Hussein, sir, I think that you should clear up this thing. Clear up this thing. I cast for aspersion, I just read what it you have to clear up this thing. It is sounding and smelling right. I don't know. I could be wrong, but clear it up for we now. There's one thing to the next and the next and the next one and the next one, the next one. So, Papa, look at this one too. I'm not able. Steven Spielberg, it was nothing but all it down here. Nothing. Steven Spielberg wanted all it down here. Listen to this.
Trinidad and Tobago. Landmark TT is facing new allegations around the perception of corruption in a $129 million agreement awarded in April, just months after the agency was established by the UNC government. The UNC has responded furiously to this allegation in a racist, obscenity-laced rant on Sunday, attacking the Chinese, the Syrians, the PNM, and even the journalist. This is a very sick response from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and suggests to me that something may be seriously wrong as the government continues to lash out in all directions. Racism, hatred, cussing, attacking journalists. This is the UNC government. According to a very detailed article by Asha Javid and Shaliza Hassan Ali in The Guardian, Landmark TT was incorporated in February 2026 and has already awarded a $129 million contract to Motilal Ramhidden's sons, the same contractor allegedly being considered for a $1 billion contract with the HTC. Both cases are now with the procurement regulator, again according to The Guardian. The story gets worse. There's allegations of $347,000 for a 3-year vehicle rental. There's reporting of close associates to the minister being given senior positions with Landmark TT, along with a web of a variety of incorporated entities by the individuals named. My question is, were any of these individuals financiers of the UNC government? UNC supporters will say, well, what about the PNM? They did it too. And this mentality is why the country is stuck in the past and cannot move forward. Corruption, cronyism, nepotism. This results in major projects grinding to a halt when power changes hands. Corruption results in the misallocation of scarce resources, stifled innovation, no rule of law, crime, and a society that only works for the rich. Landmark TT even admits this. The $129 million was for building gated communities for the rich. And then these politicians go to the people, send buses to take us to election polls, and keep the country focused on UNC PNM race wars while they hand out billion-dollar contracts.
But listen to one Mr. I think his name is Jaikaran. He said everything is only PNM. Listen.
Brighter days are ahead. Here are some of our plans to ensure that those brighter days do become fruitful. Starting with food security. For food security, we have PNM. That will surely work. How about economic development? For economic development, the government has planned to PNM, and PNM. Okay, national security. For national security, the government has decided to PNM, SOE. I think I said that 5 times so that, you could understand that this 5 years we will be in a 5-year SOE. Jobs. For jobs, the government plans to PNM, and PNM. Healthcare, and that's a good one. To ensure that each citizen get good healthcare in this country, the government plans to PNM. Housing. We know that there are usually a lot of corruption in housing, but this government, for a bright future, for brighter days ahead, for housing, this government will implement PNM. There you have it. That's our plan for brighter days ahead. It's all PNM.
I'm not able. Everything is PNM. We get all the country to run it. Not we, them. Say so. So let me continue. So earlier, Exxon, this was today again, the Express. Exxon. TNT offshore geology shows similarities to Guyana and Angola. Trinidad and Tobago offshore geology shares similarities with deep water reservoirs in Guyana and Angola, according to ExxonMobil Vice President of Exploration John Adel. Angola is deep water reservoirs, same as Guyana. And the concept we are looking for in Trinidad is similar deep water reservoirs. Adel told reporters on the sidelines of the Offshore Technology Conference in Houston earlier this month. Adel said Exxon expects to complete seismic acquisition offshore Trinidad and Tobago by year's end, with early data pointing to deep water systems similar to the prolific oil basins in Guyana and Angola. Earlier this year, Exxon contracted Shearwater Geoservices to conduct a 3D seismic survey over block TTUD/1. In a January 15 press release, Shearwater said its high-capacity streamer vessels, Amazon Warrior, would undertake the work using the company's multi-component isometric steamer technology. The company said the project will deliver high-quality seismic data to support future planned exploration activities in the area. You hear the word? Future. Future. So rather come and tell, oh God, Exxon said we are oil. They had to do seismic research first. That must take time. Then have to get the data, and then after the data, whatever work that could take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. UNC will not be in office back then. So don't let them hype all up. Well, we getting oil. That ain't no. Future. Future is not a week time or a month. Future. Tell you about years. So this thing ain't going to materialize if it had to for years. So let me continue. All right, I'm not able. Let me see what Russian Paris say. Okay, it's too long. Russian Paris, Tuesday the 19th of May. Today's the 19th. Everybody talking today, boy. Today in the Express. National Gas Company NGC gas policy is now at the center of a larger fight over Trinidad and Tobago's industrial future. Chairman Geraldine appears to favor sending more gas to Atlantic LNG on the claim that NGC earns a better return there. I strongly disagree. This is Russian Paris. That claim has been proven to be to the public. That claim has not been proven to the public, and it may rest on a misleading comparison. The first problem is the difference between gross LNG cargo prices and NGC real netback. LNG cargoes may currently earn between US 12 and US 15 per MMBTU, and that is due to the hard negotiating skill of Stuart Richard Young, who went and do another pricing other than the Henry Hub. So he does get $2 US for the, I think it's the same MMBTU per MMBTU. And they went and negotiate where they could go on other markets and sell the gas for $15 and up to $18 or something. So right, so that is the money we're making right now with John Ramdin and them talking about. If we was getting the normal Henry Hubs, no matter how things escalate out there, we would just be getting the $2 and something US. But because we're able to negotiate on other markets, because of Stuart Richard Young negotiating skills and the wisdom of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, they're getting that money now. Anywho, so I'm going to continue. So LNG cargoes may currently earn between US $12 and US 15 per MMBTU, especially with Middle East tension pushing prices higher. But that is not what LGC keeps. Earlier this year, LNG reference were materially lower, with some discussions placing LNG closer to the US $9 before the latest geopolitical premium. Trinidad and Tobago cannot build long-term gas policy on a war-inflated cargo price. The bigger issue is that NGC does not own the gas it puts into LNG. In the same way BP and Shell own upstream production, NGC must first buy gas from the upstream producers before it can monetize that gas. In many cases, the gas is contracted from the same major upstream players, including BP and Shell, who also own most of Atlantic LNG. That changes the debate. NGC is not choosing between two buyers for gas it owns. It is buying gas from the upstream sector and deciding where contracted gas should go. Some of that gas could support ammonia, methanol, and other downstream plants. Instead, more of it may be pushed into Atlantic LNG. Atlantic LNG ownership structure also matters. The restructured model gives Shell 45%, BP 45%, and NGC 10%. NGC is therefore not the main economic owner of the LNG chain. Once feed gas costs, liquefaction, shipping, marketing, plant costs, financing charges, and other deductions are applied, NGC real LNG netback may fall much lower than the headline cargo price. A reasonable estimate being discussed is that NGC real netback could sit somewhere in the range of US$5 to US$7 per MMBTU. Across the estate, a commercial gas price range in the areas of US$7 to $9 per MMBTU also has been branded about. If that range is broadly accurate, then NGC may be earning a comparable or better return from downstream gas sale than from placing gas into LNG. Well, the whole thing about this is, how I see it, Russian Paris saying, you see how them putting all egg in one basket and talking that talk, it have other factors and other variables to this thing. And they haven't proven that conversation they want to bring to we, but it's better to send all we gas, when we buy we gas, send all it to LNG instead, and send it to the other downstreamers and them, where they could monetize it and do it. We are doing that, we're taking everything and send it to LNG. And that money we getting, that increase, we can't depend on the war then. That would have inflated prices and use that to say we're making real money. Because today or tomorrow the war end, God, please let it end. And things go back to, I don't really ever go back to how it actually was, but prices go back to, then we won't be seeing the record money that they're seeing right now. So, hey, Allyuh, I'm not a gas and oil expert. Go by Dominic Romain, who might be able to explain this even better. But we have common sense. We know you can't put all your eggs in one basket, and just because you're capitalizing now on increasing money, that means that money will last forever. That's a short-term thing. So you can't plan nothing and no short-term. It's like you have a contract for 6 months, and you get $10,000 for the 6 months. But when you're working normally, you just get 5,000. So now you get an extra 5,000, but just for 6 months, you can't upscale your living outside of the 5,000 you was living all the time and bring it up to 10,000. Because in 6 months' time, when the job done, you have to go back to a 5,000 living. So it's that kind of scenario I see it as, right? Okay. So the best thing, live your 5,000 life, and the next 5 you get, put it aside for rainy day. I want to just step back quick to that whole thing in the stadium where they drive the car all on the track, the international track, and the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, talking about getting to sports and sports this and sports is this and bringing up sports and things. The same NGC, they take away all the funding from track and field, so all they care about sports. How NGC stop all the funding, even stop funding and all sponsorship for steel pan. They stop how much for track and field. All that is a party. So is that why it's okay for little drive, for little car all up on this track, mash up the track, because it will get mashed up somewhere that get mashed up already, because it's not for heavy vehicles like that. And again, I come back to it. Is it because it's a large percentage of people are African descent? Can I call it as it is? If that is where it is, that is where it is. And we have seen racism by the UNC. The PNM, as they say, don't have a history of racism. It may have some people who may be racist because it's people at the end of the day. But the PNM as a party has never had no structured racism or institutionalized racism. But the UNC seem to be wanting to institutionalize racism. Now giving an opinion. So let me continues. So listen to Well, he's not honorable because he's just a senator, and they put him. No, he's not a senator. He's the chairman of NGC. So the big bacchanal is now again, because every day is a bacchanal. Moody's say here what's going on. Moody's a rating agency, a credit rating agency. Moody's say here what's going on. And to see what they got, we know information and we can make a good determination without information. So here what we got. Now Moody here 21 years now, along with S&P and all them is independent credit rating companies. Listen to what they are about. This will explain it better.
Credit rating agencies play a crucial role in the bond market by evaluating the creditworthiness of companies and governments that issue debt. The three major players in this space are Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch Ratings. These agencies help investors understand the risk associated with different bonds, making it easier to make informed investment decisions. Understanding how these agencies work is essential for anyone involved in fixed income investing or credit analysis. Credit rating agencies are independent organizations that evaluate how likely a bond issuer is to repay their debt on time. They analyze financial data, business models, and economic conditions to determine creditworthiness. Based on their analysis, they assign letter-grade ratings that reflect the level of risk. These ratings help investors quickly assess whether a bond is a safe investment or carries significant default risk. Essentially, rating agencies act as intermediaries that provide standardized risk assessments for the entire market. The credit rating industry is dominated by three major agencies. Moody's Investors Service and Standard & Poor's each control approximately 40% of the global market share, while Fitch Ratings holds around 15%. Together, these three agencies are responsible for rating the vast majority of bonds issued worldwide. Their dominance means that their opinions carry significant weight in financial markets, and a rating from one of these agencies can greatly influence a bond's price and the interest rate the issuer must pay. Credit ratings are divided into two main categories: investment grade and speculative grade. Investment grade bonds are considered relatively safe, with lower default risk. For Moody's, investment grade ranges from AAA down to Ba3, while Standard & Poor's and Fitch use AAA to BBB-. Speculative grade bonds, also called junk bonds, carry higher risk. Moody's rates these from Ba1 to C, while Standard & Poor's and Fitch use BB+ down to D, which indicates default. The higher the rating, the lower the interest rate the issuer typically pays. Rating agencies evaluate several key factors when assessing creditworthiness. Financial strength includes examining revenue stability, profitability, and cash flow generation to ensure the company can meet its obligations. Debt levels are carefully analyzed, including total debt, debt-to-equity ratios, and interest coverage ratios. Industry position matters too, as agencies consider market share, competitive advantages, and overall sector trends. Finally, management quality is assessed by reviewing the leadership team's track record, strategic planning capabilities, and corporate governance practices. All these factors combine to create a comprehensive risk profile. The credit rating process follows four main steps. First, the issuer requests a rating and submits detailed financial documentation to the agency. Second, analysts conduct thorough analysis by reviewing financial statements, meeting with management, and assessing various risks. Third, a rating committee composed of senior analysts reviews all the information and votes on the final rating assignment. Fourth, once the rating is published, the agency continuously monitors the issuer's financial health and may upgrade or downgrade the rating if circumstances change. This ongoing surveillance ensures ratings remain current and accurate. Credit ratings have profound effects on bond markets. Higher ratings directly translate to lower borrowing costs for issuers, as investors demand less compensation for taking on less risk. The ratings provide investor confidence by offering standardized risk assessments that can be compared across different markets and sectors. When downgrades occur, they can trigger significant price movements as investors reassess the risk and adjust their positions. Additionally, many institutional investors face regulatory requirements that mandate holding only investment-grade bonds, making the distinction between investment and speculative grade critically important for market access. Despite their importance, credit rating agencies face several criticisms. The most significant is the conflict of interest inherent in their business model, since issuers pay for their own ratings, potentially creating bias. Critics also argue that agencies are reactive rather than predictive, often downgrading bonds only after problems become publicly apparent. The limited competition in the industry, with the big three dominating the market, raises concerns about accountability and innovation. Perhaps most damaging was their role in the financial crisis, where they failed to identify risks in mortgage-backed securities, leading to catastrophic market failures. These limitations remind investors that ratings should be one of many tools used in credit analysis, not the sole basis for investment decisions.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.
Right, so that's the seriousness of having those credit rating agencies. As I see it, it's like when you go to borrow money from the bank does run credit checks on it to see if you're owing Tom, Dick, and Harry. Well, it ain't gonna be Tom, Dick, and Harry, but another banking system and that kind of thing, right? Another bank, credit union, or if they have some bailiff to take back your stuff or whatever, your credit rating or credit checks on your case and all that. So let's look at that, because if you borrow money from them, they want to make sure, other than the documents they bring in, they want to know practical that you could pay back. And if you borrow and you extend yourself, you borrow from Tom, Dick, and Harry, as I put it, you may not get the loan because they say you ain't able to pay with, because by the time you pay Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you have your bills to pay, your personal bills, and you ain't want money to pay with. So based on that, you can't get the money. But if when you look at your credit ratings, it's good. Things nice. You ain't really owing nobody nothing. It's under the level it's supposed to make a payback everybody take. You could get a loan and you'll get it at a lower interest because it's less risk than if you have all them back and all there. It's risky. So they charge you a higher interest rate so they can make back something, right? So I see Moody and all them is in that kind of light. They check your country or your organization, your business, whatever, to see its credit rating, and that now will send a signal now to investors whether, okay, this company is a good company to invest with, this country is a good country, and that kind of thing, right? And Moody and they have been here for 20-something years, not in operation, but in Trinidad doing that kind of work them on Standard and Poor's, not Fitch so much, but Standard and Poor's and Moody's. So Jerram Dean, he is defending the position of the National Gas Company, of which he's the chairman, the decision to end the 21-year relationship with international rating agency Moody's, saying the move does not represent a retreat from transparency or independent scrutiny. That's so said. So said the gentleman who was a part of the whole bacchanal with the former AG Jerram Dean, and then it had the prison gate thing where he representing a dead man for how much years, and they know the man dead and all kind of thing and all kind of things. So said that gentleman. If people didn't remember that gentleman, right? So Vasant Bharat would have said, the recent decision by NGC to discontinue its relationship with Moody's is a clear attempt to distance itself from an unfavorable independent assessment rather than addressing the concerns raised by Moody. Prior to this disengagement, Moody's rating was negative. I have worked in the international financial and capital markets over 40 years, and experience has taught me that when a company ends a relationship with a rating agency after receiving a sub-investment grade rating, management is not interested in objective scrutiny. It then goes rating shopping. In other words, seeking out agencies more likely to provide favorable assessment, which ultimately undermines confidence in the company's governance and transparency. International investors generally value companies and maintains multiple independent ratings because this promotes accountability and allows market to compare different assessments. By removing Moody's as an elevator, NGC is now less open to scrutiny. Investors and lenders will surely question why the company felt the need to remove one of the world's most respected rating agencies instead of fixing the issue. Such doubts can weaken investors' confidence and potentially increase borrowing costs. The move may also reflect negatively on TNT because NGC is a state-linked company central to Trinidad and Tobago's economy. The reality is that Moody's methodologies often incorporate sovereign risk factors such as fiscal stability, foreign exchange availability, institutional strength, and exposure to commodity cycles. By criticizing Moody's framework, NGC is dismissing legitimate microeconomic concerns facing Trinidad and Tobago. Ultimately, NGC's response to the negative rating may do more harm than the rating itself. Financial markets will often tolerate weak ratings if management demonstrates transparency, discipline, and a credible long-term recovery strategy. But this action shows an unwillingness to accept independent oversight. NGC has argued that its recent financial performance reflects a stronger credit rating, but it is impossible for any improvement over a 10-month period to offset long-term structural risk associated with energy markets volatility and sovereign exposure. Finally, because NGC is one of Trinidad and Tobago's flagship state enterprises, international lenders and investors may see the move as evidence of discomfort with external accountability and independent evaluation. For a small energy-dependent economy seeking foreign investment, maintaining credibility with international financial institutions is critical. By ending its relationship with Moody's, NGC is sending a message to the international financial community that it is attempting to avoid transparency and accountability rather than confronting the concerns about its creditworthiness. The core issue is not whether Moody's is right or wrong. The issue is whether disengaging from a critical evaluator strengthens or weakens market confidence. I suppose at the end of the day, if you don't know, you just don't know. Oh Lord, you see this one? This one is a little lengthier, but I'll just read a little piece. Just give me a minute. Ramdeen and NGC, all you really feel oh God, MC dotish boy, like we didn't go to 3 and 4 schools to stop pee on we head and call it rain. Stop the BS. Let us break down the insulting press release by Ramdeen, Muniland, Kiza, and NGC, point by point, argument by argument. Let me see who write this. It says, longer than twine, and I just read a little piece. I just read a little piece of this thing here. I ain't reading this whole thing at all. Because this looking like good kuchuran bacchanal. 1, NGC say this was just a strategic realignment. I just reading the questions. 2, NGC say Moody did not fairly judge them. But Moody rated NGC for about 21 years. So Moody good enough for 21 years, or Moody suddenly become unfair only after warning about downgrade risk, warning about liquidity problem, warning about government interference, and giving a negative outlook. 3, NGC say Moody's treated them too closely tied to the government, but NGC is. It's owned 100% by the government, used as part of national energy policy, and government officials openly defended using energy money to help government spend it. So how exactly is Moody wrong for tying NGC closely to the government? 4, NGC profits improved recently, yeah, from P&M policy and strategy, but be reminded though, that those are unaudited financial statements. So Ole could be lying about that too. In any case, local and international lenders don't judge companies only by whether they make money for a few months. They also look at stability, independence, debt, cash reserves, and whether grubby hands government like the UNC keeps dipping into the company for money. 5, NGC never properly answered Moody's actual concern. Moody warned specifically about one cash flow weakening, liquidity strain, government interference, and money being diverted away from core business. Instead of directly answering those concerns with hard numbers, NGC mostly attacked Moody's methodology. That leaves many important questions unanswered. 6, NGC say Moody language was just standard policy. Maybe, but ordinary people understand one thing clearly. When an international rating agency say we no longer have enough information because the company stopped participating, what people going to think? Why did NGC stop participating? Why did NGC only stop participating now after 21 years? What has changed? We know the UNC took office. 7, NGC said they added Fitch ratings. Okay. But then, why not clearly tell the public what Fitch rated them, whether the outlook is positive or negative, and whether Fitch completely disagrees with Moody's concerns? Didn't Standard & Poor's also agree with the same Moody's concern? 8, here's the biggest issue of all, the timeline. NGC said they decided since February to stop working with Moody's, but Moody's only withdrew the rating in May. So obviously, if NGC already made the decision in February, why was the rating process still continuing? Why was Moody's still monitoring them? Why was the outlook still negative right before withdrawal? And why did Moody only later say they no longer had enough information? The timeline don't make sense. What we all see is this. We the ones with slave master names. 1, Moody warned about financial risk and government interference. 2, big cash withdrawals and dividends happening. 3, then NGC stopped participating in the process. Because confidence, truth, and credibility matters when dealing with international investors and credit agencies. You can lie to us, but you can't lie to them. Time longer than twine. Listen to economist and independent Senator Dr. Allyuh.
From a governance and transparency perspective, how significant is NGC's decision to discontinue its engagement with Moody's Investor Services?
All right, I think governance and transparency do come into play, but I think we need to contextualize this. I like to use the opportunity for people to understand what is happening. So from what certainly I have read in the media, and I think some of the statements coming out, Moody's took a decision to part company. I'm not too sure if Moody's parted company or if NGC parted company, but what that means essentially is that this independent opportunity we have to look in and to ensure that, everything is going according to plan from a governance perspective, we've lost that opportunity. So it's, in layman's terms, it's not dissimilar to when you have credit scores, when you're living abroad. So you always want this independent authority to give you a sense of your credit worthiness, because that is important for us for several reasons. One, NGC is the engine of economic activity in Trinidad and Tobago. This is not a small player. And the reliance on that independent sort of perspective on NGC's creditworthiness is significant, because it then allows us to enjoy preferential rates in terms of borrowing, etc. And we do recall from the last budget, government signaled, and it's signaled in the estimates of revenue, about $19 billion that they were going to borrow, some of which is on the substantial proportion of which is on the international market. So all of these things feed into that conversation. Then you recall in April, I think the Prime Minister declared NGC's profitability $3 billion. Then just before that, there was a conversation between NGC and Nutrien and that fallout. So there are lots of things coming into play in terms of this NGC conversation. And what I would not wish to happen for us in the country, so you started with governance and transparency, I would not wish for there to be a perception that this significant institution that is important to Trinidad and Tobago's economic viability, that there is any perception that there is anything awry or that there is any risk. So I think it is unfortunate that the noise has happened around the separation of the relationship between themselves and Moody. And I would look forward, as I always say, within recent times, the mid-year review that is coming up, I would hope that some of those conversations make their way into the mid-year review. I mean, we know it's just a system of accounts to find out where we are in terms of revenues and expenditure, but I think something that is as significant as this is does make its way into that mid-year review so that the population can be assured that there is nothing awry and that there are no governance issues at play. Because as it stands right now, because of all of the competing conversations, the nutrient, the profitability that was declared, the more than 70% increase in gas prices that NGC imposed on light manufacturers, all of these things could lead one to the conclusion that something is not adding up. And I think the opportunity would present itself at the mid-year review first to have clarity as a country moving forward, because it will impact it could impact investor confidence. This headline that Moody's has parted company with NGC, it could impact investor confidence, and that is not something that Trinidad and Tobago can afford at this time.
She actually answered the question I was going to ask.
Just, I mean, come on.
Yeah, so that is Dr. Marlene Alston, noted economist. And here her concerns is about credibility, transparency, but apparently the chairman of NGC may not understand that. I saw also he's saying they're happy they signed off some contracts with Proman or something like that. I'm happy for them, but the UNC has never been good managers, so me not excited. But I'm happy, but me not excited because it always have a few minutes later with them. Something you go here after, something with them contract and something that is not a wee benefit or some back end. I also see or heard the Minister of Finance very excited, in my opinion, that the IMF has given them some type of good report or some positivity or whatever. And this is my opinion based on my studies I did when I was at Cipriani doing labor. In my opinion, the IMF must be happy with Allyuh, because in my opinion, Allyuh would have initiated in this country structural adjustment programs, and that's what the IMF like. The IMF like you to cut the fat, and go down to be nothing. So let's send home 10,500 CPET workers, URP workers, that's about 60,000 public officers, all and workers, everybody makes into one, or they increase all the taxes 100% more. IMF like them thing. Tax, more tax, cut out social program, cut out sponsorship, steel bands, track and field, all that, save money thing. The IMF love them thing, like structural adjustment program. So whatever they give greater or they get or whatever it is based on the hardship or they impose on the citizens. That's nothing to be happy about. And then there's the fine print in reading, because it's still coming back. When I read anything, still coming back to say, all in well, if you can do this and do this and do this, this could happen, this could happen. But the point is, they go like what they're saying, because all they cut money from everything, or they tax the whole country, or they fire almost everybody, bars closed down, business closed down, everything closed down, no sponsorship, no this, no that, no that. Structural adjustment program that I'm right up IMF alley. So that again, everything them thing is have to take with a pinch of salt. So listen to Vass and Barrett here again. This was in Trini Lose or something. So one Dagway says, even UNC supporters now feel government has no answers. Former UNC Minister Vass and Barrett did not mince words commenting on the approaching completion of the government's first parliamentary session. Barrett said that the problem is no longer just underperformance. According to him, even loyal UNC supporters are beginning to recognize something deeper. The administration appears overwhelmed, ill-equipped, and unable to deliver the solution it campaigned on. It is a serious political warning, because once citizens start believing that help is coming, disappointment becomes something much harder to manage. It becomes frustration, then cynicism, then disillusionment, and eventually people begin asking whether the plans they were promised ever truly existed in the first place. Barrett's criticism cuts straight to the heart of the matter: crime, the economy, jobs, prices, foreign exchange, business confidence, public trust, and the feeling that government is still behaving like it is on the campaign trail instead of actually governing. The UNC asks the country for power by promising urgency, competence, and a ready team. Now one of its own former ministers is saying the public may be seeing chaos, weak direction, and a government trapped by its own promises. This is not an opposition attack. This is an internal alarm bell. So the question is simple. Is this government just finding its footing, or are the citizens now realizing that there is never a real plan? Song of below and whatever. So this is what that article looked like with the picture. Yeah, so the clear verdict now, even among the UNC law supporters, it isn't simply that the government has underperformed. There's recognition that the administration is overwhelmed and ill-equipped to handle the job and provide solutions they campaign on. If citizens begin concluding that promises solution never exist, concluding that promised solutions never truly existed, then the public disappointment hardened into something much more dangerous politically, resulting in disillusionment and the public's mood that risk turning more volatile over time. So that's exactly what he said, the 17th of May, 2026. Okay, let me continue. Listen to Rambles.
IMF, slow growth, higher inflation for Trinidad and Tobago in 2026. Well, duh, we didn't need CNC3 or the IMF to tell us this. We could smell it in the air. You can feel the poverty when you walk outside. I'm not sure many people are aware of what is taking place, but let me break it down to you all. Do you all remember when the government fired the CPEP workers, the URP workers, the forestry workers? Then they came and they cut the corporations' budgets in the PNM areas, leading to those corporations having to reduce their staff. Now, on the surface, those moves may seem like random unemployment, and it may not affect you, but let me explain to you all the knock-on effect that all of us are experiencing right now because of that. Most low-income earners do not shop at supermarkets frequently. They may go once a month or for Christmas, but generally they surround the mini-marts and the parlors and the shops in the communities. These are the people who don't go and buy 12 eggs one time. They will go and buy 4 eggs in a bag, 3 eggs in a bag. Yes, this is a real thing. Those are also the ones who don't go and buy $200 in expensive cheese. They have the cheese in the shop and it's cut in different sizes based on weight. Let me get $5 piece of cheese, $10 piece of cheese. I just want to eat some bread this evening. This is also a thing. These are the exact people that the parlors, the shops, and the mini-marts, and yes, there is a difference, and by extension, even in neighborhood bars, in the corner bar over so, the woman who selling breasts going down the road by the food place, this one, that one. These establishments depend on low to middle income earners. When you come and you say, hey, 11,000 of you all go home, take that, go home. And in one community, 500 of those people are now unemployed. What do you think is going to happen to those businesses? Right now, the dominoes have started falling. A recession is looming. If you don't believe me, if you are good with a neighborhood shopkeeper, go and ask him or her, how has business been for the past year and a half compared to like 2-3 years ago? I guarantee they will let you know that they're under pressure because many communities right now are in a recession because of this. But it's not too late. The government can't step in and try and arrest this problem before it spreads. I know right now they are hedging their bets on 2027, hoping that certain things that were already in the pipeline comes on stream so money will start flowing. Be careful that while you are playing a waiting game with economics, the situation doesn't spiral out of control, where it will take years to recover from. Recessions don't stay isolated forever. They propagate outwards. Be careful that the same communities that you are trying to spite right now based on their race and voting preferences doesn't cause a nationwide issue that will affect you all as well.
Let me just take down this picture here. Yeah? So all the happiness and the excitement, IMF If you implement a structural adjustment program, the IMF will love you. But this is what somebody chronicled. Between 2010 and 2015, Trinidad and Tobago experienced a period of constant deficit budgets, averaging over TT 8 billion in annual fiscal shortfalls. Total government expenditure increased by an estimated 33 to 44% over the 5-year period, while revenues were severely impacted by a collapse in global energy and oil prices. The transition from a fiscal surplus to a deficit during this time frame is outlined by the specific context of Trinidad and Tobago's economy. 2010. The incoming administration, as the UNCPP, inherited a cash surplus of approximately TT 6.5 billion at the Treasury. Deficit spending soon commenced as government expenditure expanded significantly. 2011, the Ministry of Finance estimated a lower than projected fiscal deficit of roughly TNT 1.04 billion, aided by a tax amnesty and buoyant energy prices. 2012 to 14, government spending continued to climb, peaking at close to TT 64 billion annually. Deficit grew larger as commodity prices began to fluctuate, placing a strain on state revenue. 2015, a sharp collapse in global oil prices materialized. Projected government revenues were at TT 60 billion against expenditure of about TT 64 billion. Locking in a deficit of more than TT 4 billion for the year. By the end of this fiscal cycle, the Treasury cash balance had reversed from a positive position to a deficit of TT 8.5 billion. Because expenditure levels were sticky and failed to adjust to declining energy receipts, these shortfalls were primarily funded by heavy government borrowing. The total national public debt stock increased by roughly 69%, growing from TT 45.4 billion in 2010 to TT 76.5 billion by 2015. So whatever money they get on me ain't comfortable and happy with that because they can manage the economy properly, and it has been proven to be true. It's not what I say. Because in 2015, when the PNM won the election and came into office, the central bank governor, the junior central bank governor, because it had people more experience than him, Joala Rambaran, he told the government that this treasury only had money for 3 days. So they do it all the money because they had the highest oil prices ever between 2010 and 14, before the oil prices started to drop in 15. What they did with the money. But again, I will keep reading this. The Failure of the Indian Leadership in the Caribbean by Dr. Vishnu Bishram, Volume 3, Number 1 of 2002. It appears that Indian leaders are more attracted to the trappings of cocktail parties, first-class travel, 5-star hotels, etc., of being in office rather than in bringing about meaningful change in society or genuinely representing the interests of their supporters. Appeasing the other side and neglecting their own supporters became the hallmark of their policy. Filling their own pockets through kickbacks, awarding government contracts became their number one priority. They did everything to make a quick buck for themselves, and they set up close relatives in business rather than doing something to ameliorate poverty and suffering of their supporters or the society as a whole. Loyalty rather than competence was rewarded. The Indian party became the party of one-man rule. You all seen any similarities or any truth in that? What Dr. Vishnu Bishram said, not me who said. So let me continue. Don't forget, take the stick out all your ears and don't forget, remember this, he said with your own
Trinidad and
mouth.
Tobago, this is just but a small reminder how this government really worked for you. Evidently, on May 24, 2010, this country was fooled into believing that the UNC had the country's best interests at heart. And it was for that and that only reason you gave them an opportunity to govern. But today in 2015, before you go to the polls on September the 7th, you have not only a clear record of their abysmal performance, but you have actually lived 5 long, bitter years of the consequences of their actions. For these 5 long, bitter years, you helplessly looked on in horror and dismay as we slide into an abyss of bad governance, the likes of which the country has never experienced. Even though they committed to referendum and the right of recall, like so many other commitments, they just did not deliver. So as a citizen, you could neither recall them nor communicated your disgust and dissatisfaction with their extreme poor level of governance. But now you have this only opportunity which you can ill afford to waste. You will have only yourself to blame if you do not exercise your democratic right to save our country from becoming a failed state. We have traveled.
Right? That is Roger talking that day. You can never deny. It's not he talking that day. Look at this picture. While the Honorable Minister Michel Benjamin is going to have the Battle of the Belnaz, they're going to make who could make the best roti or sada roti showdown. Nothing wrong in that. All that nice, a part of the whole celebration of Indian arrival. But this is on government stationery. They're going to have the Battle of the Belnaz to make roti. It in her best village was to showcase we culture, Indian culture and African culture, Chinese culture, all the cultures. We have no best village. No best village this year, but they're going to have Battle of the Belnaz who can make the best roti. Well, I hope for African emancipation, they only put out a thing with Tuole again and have Battle of the best Pelau, Battle of the best cow heel, Battle of the best bacon shack, Battle of the best callaloo and macaroni pie and stewed chicken, baked chicken, fufu, black eyed peas. I hope it's a battle of all them things too, and not just Battle of the Belnaz, because we understand is Indian arrival. Nothing wrong in that, but I hope to see that same excitement when it's African Emancipation Day. Because you, Madam American, like you forget your heritage and everything. Or like all of us forget all the heritage, everything just for some Indian people to like all you. Let them like all you being all your authentic selves. Anytime you have to be something else and around them, they go use you because they go realize you're not real. But when you're real around them, they just respect you more. So find some of your heritage now. We're the best village. We're going to make sada roti. People don't forget what all of them tell we the UNC is, you know. We didn't say it, you know, them tell we, you know, they take stick campaign all this. Or remember this gentleman here, he tell all you during the election, but all they think was a joke because we laughing, give, listen to him.
So that is what they have done. So when they're boasting about this, they're running on thing to do. They don't care if it have no doctor after, if it have no teacher after, if it have no sewer after, if it have no police after. They're just doing contract, because contract means left, right, and center, kickback, payback, bribes, but the system taking it. The system of governance taking it. And look at them, they plunder this country for 5 years. They plunder, they get in the bank book, getting big, it can't hold in Trinidad, it's holding outside and in vault. It's showing in the face, in the belly. Everything is showing it big. Not everything, the belly. And let me tell you, you know woman that's tied a tube, not to get pregnant for the belly not to get big? Well, them tying the intestines for the same reason. All of them. Check them. And they're so stupid. They put on the same jacket, the same pants. So let me tell you something. I don't have much time tonight. You need to have to speak, you know. I had a next conversation. I want to tell you because this is the conversation in the country. I'm talking to some cane farmers, you're not involved in the cane farmers movement, and they take advantage for 5 years of the cane farmers. Don't talk, out of 10,000 cane farmers, only 3,000 getting money. The 6,000 I get 1 cent, 30 and 40 years in the industry. So I went in Moruga and I'm talking to a cane farmer. And I say, the cane farmer saying, he said, Dave, because he's struggling, boy gets sick now, he's sick now, poor fella, Button Trace. He said, boy, they treat me like dog. I say, yes. He said, I'm not voting. But the wife Friday, Mousy, she said, so Rowley ever put? I said, well, what happened to him? She said, look how he does look. I said, but watch how he does look. He's a good looking man. And you vote for Warner? And Marlene Goudre? What are they going to do? She said, no, I mean that. Look, you look racial. I said, look racial? How Ramashandas look? How Olalas look? How Devan Mara Sat families look? I said, he don't look racial, Devan. He anti-Muslim too. Ask Inshan Ishmael. Ask the people in ADB. As Minister of Agriculture, you will make every single application for loans for Muslims. Ask him, ask ADB. So all the Muslims who are looking outside there, vote for Devant and Balik. The movie, that's why I wanted a movie, but they're bringing others to replace it, but the same thing. She said, Dave, you see you talking about us. She done with the racial talk. She said, Manning says he's a Rottweiler. I say, yeah, to deal with them, you gotta get about 10 Rottweiler. I didn't feel them at that.
Right? They laugh when he talk that in Grandy. You know, it was Ting, Picong, Ting, whatever. But the man talking just with Dr. Vishnu Bishram talk about contract, kickback. And Sandy Gandhi people ain't take on all that. Sandy Gandhi people went and do their own thing. And they have who they have and what they have. Excuse me. People, let me see all who here. I don't know what happened to Facebook. I'm stressing myself, but I'm so sorry if my peeps not on Facebook. I'm still giving them a shout out. That's why a gentleman today at the bank. I didn't get his name, but thanks for the support, thanks for looking. I hope that you find us on Bounce Up Central and you're able to like and subscribe. Let me see all who here. 289 comments, all it good talking. Let me see what the bacchanal is. Patricia Reed. Meet your day. Where going, Patricia? Meet who? Me make no plan with you, you know. I don't know who you're talking to or meet you there. Meet you there way. That's why I'm going to go to the top and back down. Let me see. True just now. Trinidad, man. Good evening, gentlemen, and all on the line, but late, but here. Causes love and more love up in here. Oh God, you know that? We don't share real love. We share the little picong ting too. Serious politics, whatever, but it's love at the end of the day. We just want to see the best of this country, you know. We want to see all the races work together, you know. We know how we can always get along. In our own house, you don't get along with everybody. But at the end of the day, it's a love and togetherness and a respect. You want to build this country, boy, but I know them like they want to mash it up a kind of way, this race thing, boy. I ain't saying we never have this racial thing, whatever, but not this kind of magnitude it haven't there now, boy. Not this magnitude. I go play something with the Prime Minister, so I tell you we never had that magnitude before. Pearl Martin, Jen, you must play that clip with Franklin. Yes, I'm going to play just now. I'm going to play. Let people understand the thing. I'm going to play the damn thing, man, more. Pearl. I'm going to play. Ramdeen think this is from Wayne Gibson. Mr. Gibson, how you going, darling? Ramdeen think he own the majority of gas. Ramdeen, do you know the machinery? But I mean, you know nothing. We know Ramdeen is a lawyer. Ramdeen know anything about any gas? Come now, director, you okay long time? Hey, where's that? Oh, you're asking if I okay. We don't have to wonder what the UNC is about. It's all facing a daily basis. Papa. True journey, this is Wayne again, Mr. Gibson. You real talking. What's Sammy? Sammy must be saying going there tonight now. Finch credit rating is not. Yes, UNC Finch only have a 10% something while Moody have 45% like credibility, something, and then something to the effect, and S&P. But Finch have, so it, let me just say what I want to go and say now, Papa. Sherlyn say they don't care when they mash up the country, paying them to catch. Sherlyn, then we tell people don't vote UNC. And what I say, don't vote for the Chinese. And what I say, I went around, don't vote for the Chinese. Because it's a 1%. Then what I say, hi, Ruthven, darling. Pro-man is UNC. Papa, I don't know about that. Now I've got to find out. Yeah, Dr. Atsurel, brilliant and true. She's pretty and she's brilliant. That whatever, we could be anything we want to be. Don't let them fool all you. We have always been. They never existed. They never existed, never. I don't know who is that Attila talking about them. Attila has been she. All vibes, you know. Surely. Good night, blessing, gender and viewers, everybody. Mr. Gibson, you're real talking, boy. But that's nice. I like to see the activity. Let people at Trinidad and Tobago take, what's that? Pearl, I don't know where right there, you know. But I don't know, there's a plenty typo. Anyway, Attila, what you laughing at? You just bring good back around, you know. Ask Candace, see what I'm talking about. Who is Candace? Who is Candace? Oh, Papa, I don't talk. Oh God, who say no God eh? Something James say, oh God, where you say no God for laughing? Real talk. Imagine stinker tight up, he got let me see who's saying that. Sedina and Attila, I see two all the mouth not right here. Who tie up the stinking? Who tie up the guts to look you? I'm not able. Now let me go back to the thing and let me play the thing the lady tell me what. I'm not going to get no trouble with all you. Not me. So this is what the lady wanted. Because when he said, let me see how fast and I see a new comment coming. Good night, Jen and all. So see where you now come on from. You know Jumpy to say good night? Look, this is the thing lady asking for the one to say was short. You mustn't talk. You mustn't say nothing. This is why he has to talk. This is why he has to talk. He know the business. Listen to this.
And I want to share one further point here with the nation. When the Prime Minister met with the leaders of the energy sector, it was decided to establish what we call an empowered negotiating team of technocrats and led by two ministers. Myself, as Minister of Energy, and the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young. And today, I want this nation to know that we owe a debt of gratitude to the Honorable Stuart Young for his contribution in this whole exercise. He has been very, very instrumental in these negotiations because as a litigation lawyer, he knew what to say, what not to say. I was there at his side. I've been an expert in the field of energy, but he was the expert negotiator. And both of us worked diligently together as a team to deliver these results for Trinidad and Tobago. That gentleman is young, he is bright, he's productive, he's an extremely hard worker.
And is that. So let us take that. The man know what he's talking about. None of them in no industry. So all the things they're talking about, I know he this and he this. None of them in have that kind of skill and technique and competence, boy. Waste of time. People I love all you see all on Friday go spend and come in something for something. You say girl Jen, sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get founders mission for Frederick, another edition that we talk this thing unfiltered. People all they can see all they want to know. All they can see all they want at the end of the day. We want the best person to lead the People's National Movement, to get the People's National Movement back into office. And everybody big and has sense. Everybody big and has sense. And if you like how things going now, why go tell all you? But I know them young one and them who 15 years now and 14 years now, 19 years now. will be first-time voters, probably 20, 30, whatever. Them ain't voting for what them see in the PNM now. Well, they could cost me for the one that's quite okay. But they're not talking the truth. Them young one of them not voting for what they see in the PNM now. Who will be new voters 20, 30, or second time or third time, or they getting that. But you see the die-hard PNM voters, they go vote PNM because, you know, but the young ones and them, all they can say what they want. And it's not because I dislike nobody. Or they don't like to talk the truth. Because somehow they feel it will interfere with, I don't know what it is. But isn't it better the PNM in office and all of we could win? Isn't it better for the PNM to be in office and all of we win? And for we to win, we have to talk the truth about what we see going on and know that what's going on right now can't take, or like I say, what you want. Don't let's stay breaking all ears. This particular PNM and all that, this leadership, me saying it. Nobody has to agree with me. Can't take PNM until no victory 2030. And anybody who's saying yes, or they're wicked. Wicked all the train and all great-grandchildren and all the train at Trinidad and Tobago and all the damn self. And have nothing to do with who like who and who like who. I can't take this, I like, she like. You have to like somebody who in position to think. Once they do the work, properdize it. Just like and I like, she and I like he and like she, and she nice and she quack. That's a such a stupid talk. Anyway, I go and see only Friday gospel. Only listen to some Sparrow. Stop, let's take break and all the damn ears. Only don't hear. Don't hear until 2030. Hey, Lordy! I'm gone. Love all you.
Long ago, boy, when I was young, and anything at all go wrong, I used to run to me grandmother for she to help me. But oh brother, when she talk is only parable. When she done, I in more trouble. I know it's good advice she giving, but what the devil she saying? A ounce of prevention better than a whole pound of cure to do. Never trouble you. You scratch my back before yours gets scratched. When you're drinking gasoline, don't eat much. What's sweet in goat mouth goes sour in ink pants. Men have no right in rockstone dance. Exchange no robbery any court for a storm. Can't be from for monkey run on. Oh yeah. I really thought she was a mad woman because I really couldn't understand all these parables she using to me. It was too confusing. You're young, you're quick to fall in love and always have problem to solve. I think I'm getting help from she, but she telling me Nancy's story. Lalin kui shubare. One day, come day. Who are cocoa in sun, always looking for rain. Wise man will never practice what you hear him preach. So don't have your hand where your hand carries. Love soon get cold when it run hot like that. Many will go on to stay out. That's the one I like. Tell me more, Granny. Boy, oh boy, she was a real good sport. A real amusing sort, she could fix any problem, I'm sure. She had a plaster for every sore. When you live in glass house, no stone. The window you break might be your own. Who bring you news, won't carry back on you. Everything she tell me is true. Show me a thief, I'm gonna show you a liar. Words of a fair love together. Knowledge is power. wisdom is force. That's a runaway horse. Fool could make money, but his wise man to spend it. Nobody could teach a old dog new tricks. One hand can't clap, once bitten, twice shy, and you'll never miss the water till the well run dry. Tell me, Granny, yeah.